People usually say that introverts aren't really social creatures, that they don't even like social things at all, which is completely untrue, by the way. Why? Because I'm an introvert myself. Like to introduce myself, my name is Andrea Rhizqy. I'm from the class XII-I, and my absent number is 5. Realize that introverts aren't really the messy types of people that you usually see, that doesn't like social interactions or that doesn't even like people in the first place. Because that is completely untrue, right? Like, for example, if you're stating that extroverts are more desirable than introverts, even though they have the same qualities but different styles, it's like the moonlight and sunlight of the universe. They all have different beauties, they all have different qualities, but they have each different things to go for, right? Now let's talk about introverts first. Introverts usually charge their energy or social battery, as they say, by holding around close to other people, for example, family or even close friends. Meanwhile, extroverts, as you've seen, currently have so much energy around other people that they constantly charge around them. But if there's no interaction whatsoever, they just feel like so down and depressed even. Other than that, you would know that introverts are usually very unsociable creatures, which is not true. Why? Because introverts usually tend to have focus on more of themselves and all the people that are close to them. Which is why the people that are the favorite of these introverts are usually the people that are close to them. Meanwhile, yes, they can adapt to other people that aren't really close to them, but really, they only have the energy, always have the energy, the constant communication of energy to be close with the people that they are close to in the first place. This is different than extroverts, right? But also, notice that these two types of personalities have their downside and have their benefits too, right? The benefits, of course, outweighs most of the qualities that are harmful, but know that if you're too much of an introvert or too much of an extrovert, both of them is still bad. Because an extrovert is really bad if you're using and or over-stimulating every other people that are around you, making you finding more annoying or making yourself far more unapproachable by other people, especially to those introverts. Meanwhile, if you're an introvert that is completely and utterly devoid of social interactions, that's not healthy too, because as humans, we are social creatures, right? Thus, we can see that introvert is not really the low quality type of personality, nor does extrovert qualifies as the better quality of personalities in the first place. Which is why as an introvert today, I'm going to experience the first thing that I know as an introvert, which is one of the things that I relate to. For example, I've had more energy to spend on the people that are close to me. Actually, they even help me recharge about what I actually need. For example, my families. Most of the things that have been seen by my family are usually me being depressed, etc., right? But they also help me in so many different ways, and so I appreciate them so much. In the case of other people, I don't really have that much of social battery to create some sort of social communication or to create an effort of communication, which is different with actual adaptation, right? Because I can adapt to things that are inherently needed in that conversation, but doesn't necessarily mean that I'm comfortable with that conversation. For example, if I'm needed to adapt for a certain competition, for a certain speech, or for this video, for example, right? I'm not inherently trying to avoid social connection or avoid social interactions, but I'm also trying to constantly adapt my energy and my social battery to those people. And even if I don't like it, it's not really the problem of if I don't like or like it in the first place, but it's the matter of fact that I have to do it because that adaptation leads to more communication and leads to more productive activity. This is different than extroverts, because extroverts generally like being talkative, they like being expressionist, etc., which is currently not what I have in store under myself. Which is why if we want to categorize people under two personalities, it's quite not enough. But if I had to put myself in that spectrum, I would totally put myself in an introvert, even if some people may say, oh, you look more like an extrovert than an introvert to me. But I feel like that's a very general thing to say because the qualities of both introvert and extrovert can be assimilated. For example, the existence of ambiverts, right? Even though I am not an ambivert, I'm sure that I'm an introvert in the first place because I have these stutters. If you can see, I have stutters and I have some sort of nervousness around people, which is completely normal, by the way, but it tends to be more provocative towards the people that are introverts. Thus, what can we conclude to this video, right? I feel like introverts are really misguided, and I feel like people need to have more understandings about personalities and not just about, oh, introverts are bad and extroverts are good, or too much extroverts are bad, or too much introverts are good. Which is why that is what I'm standing for, to actually vouch for those introverts that are from those types of people that needs understanding and that needs to have more confidence in themselves, right? So that's all for me, right? Bye bye.